iron horse. What American does not thrill to the sight of a speeding train? The biggest thing that moves on land. Here is mass action. Today, the economic importance of the steam locomotive can hardly be overestimated. In peace and war, it ties our far-flung country together, for our commerce and industries to function. It brings us our daily food from quarters of the land and carries us on business and pleasure safely and in comfort. It has been one of the essential creators of the America we know today. Probably the most famous locomotive in the world is the giant Hudson type, developed by the New York Central in 1927. Since then, nearly 300 of them have been in use on famous mainline passenger trains of the Central's great steel fleet. No other locomotive has ever caught the public fancy like this one, or attained such an enviable record for operating efficiency. The steam locomotive is one of the most compact power plants in the world. Within comparatively close limits are 300 tons of machinery, every pound designed for the most grueling work. Each engine costs nearly $200,000. Perhaps you wonder why a locomotive is such a complicated and expensive piece of machinery. Well, let's take a look at some of the answers. Since the day James Watt discovered the power of steam, it has been serving mankind. It is the prime mover of the steam locomotive. The largest part of the engine is the boiler, where water is turned into steam by a white-hot fire. Stripped of its insulating jacket, a boiler looks like a long tank with a box built in one end. The firebox is similar to that in your furnace at home and is built to hold a fire which drives its heat through long tubes surrounded by water. The water absorbs heat from the tubes, and the result is steam in enormous quantities. The smoke and burn gases finally reach the front of the boiler and are discharged into a smoke box. From here, they reach the open air through the smoke stack. To produce mechanical energy, the tremendous power of expanding steam must be properly harnessed. In a locomotive, this is accomplished by utilizing cylinders, pistons, connecting rods, and wheels. In this cutaway model, the fundamental parts are shown in action. This relatively simple appearing machinery is the result of more than 100 years of constant research and experimentation, which is still being pressed. The power stroke begins when the valve allows steam to flow into the cylinder. Its expanding force pushes the piston to the other end of the cylinder. In the meantime, the valve again moves, allowing the steam to push the piston back. The pushing and pulling of the piston is linked to all wheels by rods. Thus, the force of each stroke reaches all drive wheels at once. Although this mechanism produces the actual power, there are many other accessory devices which are necessary to make the modern engine safe and efficient. The whistle might be called the voice of the engine man. Its blast warns trespassers and communicates signals. The automatic bell